Everyone's cross-shopping the 2026 RAV4 and CR-V, but the real question isn't which one has the bigger screen or flashier trim. It's which one actually fits the way Americans drive, live, and rack up miles year after year. And apparently, I got the answer. Hello everyone, this is Scott from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today, we're breaking down how these two newcomers really stack up when it comes to long-term comfort, everyday usability, and owning one past 100,000 miles. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up and let's get back to the video. First round, overall ride quality. You can read all the spec sheets you want, but nothing tells you how a crossover behaves until you put it through morning traffic, a stretch of open highway, and a half-paved construction detour. That's where the CR-V and RAV4 start to feel a little different. The CR-V leans more toward comfort, especially if you're coming from a sedan. It's tuned soft, isolates bumps well, and the steering stays light at low speeds. Honda's 1.5-liter turbo with the CVT doesn't thrill, but it's predictable once you get used to how it delivers power. The hybrid version is smoother still, especially in stop and go, where that dual-motor setup can roll quietly without waking up the gas engine. Toyota took a different route. The RAV4's hybrid system runs a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter with an eCVT, and it feels more linear under throttle. The electric motor torque fills in the gaps better on launch, and the steering has a bit more resistance, which I like at highway speeds. That said, the ride is a touch firmer. You feel more of the road, especially over expansion joints and cracked city pavement. It doesn't beat you up, but it's not trying to coddle you either. Between the two, I'd call the CR-V the better commuter and the RAV4 the better road tripper, especially if you cover long miles across state lines. Toyota feels more planted and confident at 75 miles per hour. But in traffic, Honda's hybrid is a little quieter and easier to live with in everyday use. Second round, cabin comfort. One thing I always pay attention to, especially after spending a few hours behind the wheel, is how a cabin wears on you over time. The CR-V has nailed that formula better than most in this class. Its front seats have wider bases and deeper lumbar support, and the rear seats recline with a good amount of lean. You don't really notice it until you've been on the road for a few hours or stuck waiting in school pickup lines. The CR-V also has one of the flattest rear floors in the segment, so middle seat passengers don't have to straddle a hump. Toyota's setup is a little different. The RAV4's seating position is taller and more upright, which works well if you're hauling kids in and out or want that commanding SUV view. The front seats have firmer bolsters and feel a bit narrower, especially for broader drivers. Rear legroom is solid but not as generous as Honda's. What Toyota did well, though, is layout. All the essential controls, from volume knob and climate toggles down to the drive mode switch, are positioned where your hand naturally falls. And the front passenger gets bonus storage cubbies along the dash and center tunnel, something Honda doesn't offer. In terms of materials, the CR-V feels slightly more premium in touch points, like the softer door pads and cleaner stitching, but it doesn't really change the experience unless you're obsessive. For actual day-to-day usability, the RAV4's layout feels a bit more purposeful. It may not look as sleek, but it works better when you're multitasking on the go. Third round, interior storage. When you're living out of your SUV on the weekends, whether it's tailgating, camping, or doing a grocery run with the dog crate in back, clever storage makes a difference. Honda's approach in the CR-V is all about usable volume. It has 36.3 cubic feet behind the second row and opens up to 76.5 with the seats folded. The load floor is wide and flat, and on certain trims, it's adjustable. One underrated detail, though, is the CR-V's squared-off hatch opening. That makes sliding in larger items, like folded strollers or storage bins, way less awkward. The underfloor storage also gives you a place to stash things like jumper cables or dirty gear. Toyota's RAV4 comes in a hair under Honda's total cargo space, at 37.6 behind the second row and 69.8 max. But numbers don't tell the full story. The lift-over height in the RAV4 is lower, which makes it easier to toss in heavier items without scuffing the bumper. And while it doesn't have an adjustable cargo floor on all trims, the cargo area itself is designed with more built-in utility, such as hooks, small side compartments, and a more rugged floor material that's easier to clean if you're hauling muddy boots or sandy chairs. Also worth noting, the RAV4 offers an available height-adjustable power liftgate that you can program to stop at a lower position, which is a big deal if your garage clearance is tight. If you're packing light and tight, it's clear to me that Honda gives you more volume. But for rugged utility and smart touches, Toyota might be the more thoughtful pack mule. Fourth round, infotainment and tech. This time, let me talk about how these two SUVs handle modern tech, because screens and software are now just as important as ride quality for a lot of buyers. Toyota came out swinging this year. The 2026 RAV4 gets a standard 10.5-inch infotainment screen across all trims, with higher trims bumping up to a 12.9-inch display. The 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster is also standard, and it looks sharp, with clean graphics and deep customization. Toyota added its new Arene software platform, which runs wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto while letting you use dual Bluetooth connections, meaning two devices can be connected at the same time. That's useful when you're navigating and someone else wants to stream music. The home screen is always accessible too, which keeps things intuitive while driving. Now, the CR-V isn't slouching, but it feels a little behind the curve. It tops out with a 9-inch infotainment screen and a 10.2-inch gauge display on higher trims. You do get Google built in on sport touring models, which adds Google Maps, Assistant, and Play Store without needing your phone. That's slick if you live in the Android world. The CR-V also includes wireless phone charging across all hybrid trims, which is something Toyota still limits to higher trims. But here's the catch. Honda's layout is simpler. Big HVAC knobs, physical buttons for volume and tuning, and no unnecessary layers buried in submenus. It's not as flashy as Toyota's setup, but it's easier to use without taking your eyes off the road. Fifth round, all-wheel drive and traction. Now, if you've ever driven through a snowstorm in upstate New York or dealt with a muddy trail out west, you know not all all-wheel drive systems are built equal. That's where the 2026 RAV4 and CR-V start to separate in a big way. Toyota's all-wheel drive setup, especially in the hybrid models, uses a third electric motor that powers the rear axle independently. That means torque can be sent to the back instantly when slip is detected. No clutch pack delay. No waiting for the front wheels to lose grip first. It's especially noticeable when taking off on a wet incline or turning onto a loose gravel road. On higher trims like the Woodland and GR Sport, you get multi-terrain select with specific modes for mud, sand, and snow, plus downhill assist control. That gives you more confidence when things get sketchy off pavement. Honda's real-time all-wheel drive is a reactive system. It primarily runs front drive until the computer detects a slip, then transfers torque to the rear wheels. It's better than older systems, and Honda's improved logic makes the handoff smoother than it used to be. Still, it's not as proactive as Toyota's electric-based setup. The Trail Sport trim adds all-terrain tires and a bit of off-road suspension tuning, but it's still more for show than for crawling. If you live somewhere with brutal winters or do occasional dirt road camping, the RAV4 has the advantage in grip and response. The CR-V will hold its own, but I'm more certain that it's better suited for light-duty bad weather than real off-pavement use. Sixth round, fuel economy and range. When you're clocking in serious mileage, fuel economy matters, but so does real range. The CR-V Hybrid and RAV4 Hybrid both aim to save you at the pump, but they go about it a little differently. Let me start with the numbers. The 2026 Honda CR-V Hybrid is rated at 40 miles per gallon combined for front-wheel drive and 37 miles per gallon for all-wheel drive trims. Solid figures. The RAV4 Hybrid hasn't released EPA numbers yet, but if it improves even slightly over the 2025 model's 39 miles per gallon combined, it'll be right on Honda's heels or possibly ahead. Now, the new plug-in hybrid variant takes things to a different level. Toyota says it delivers up to 50 miles of electric-only range, and once the gas engine kicks in, you still get over 300 total system horsepower. That's huge for daily commuters who can drive electric during the week and use gas on longer trips. Tank size plays a role too. Both SUVs use a 14-gallon tank, but Toyota hybrids have historically squeezed more highway range out of each fill-up. Add in the PHEV's electric miles, and the RAV4 ends up going farther between stops, especially if you plug in regularly. If you're sticking with regular hybrids, I'm sure it's close. But if you're willing to step into plug-in territory, the RAV4 gives you the best of both worlds, which is real electric range without the charging anxiety of a full EV. Final verdict. If you strip away the marketing, the brand loyalty, and the online noise, what you're left with is this. Which SUV can actually handle the rhythm of real American life? I'm talking about the wear and tear of commuting 5 days a week, hauling groceries, packing in 2 kids and a dog, navigating bad weather, and still feeling solid after 5 or 10 years. After running through every aspect of these two SUVs, It's clear that both the 2026 Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4 are built with serious intent. Honda focused on comfort, refinement, and ease of use. The CR-V feels premium in day-to-day driving, and its hybrid system is smooth and efficient. But when you start stacking up the numbers and the engineering choices, Toyota is building with a different purpose. The 2026 RAV4 isn't just designed for the present buyer trend, it's engineered to stick around. From the smarter all-wheel drive system to the proven hybrid powertrain and plug-in versatility, Toyota leaned into durability and practical ownership. Its longer range capability, smarter cabin storage, and higher resale value all push it ahead. So which one is actually built for American life? The RAV4 takes the win, not because it's newer or flashier, but because it checks the boxes that matter over the long haul. It's the SUV that shows up every day, asks for very little, and keeps going. And in a country where mileage isn't just a number, that's what makes the difference.